What's up, all my movie-loving maniacs? This is your boy Thankful B of the Lassiter Factor, and I am back with another TV review. And today I'm going to review season 4 of Abbott Elementary. So let's review. And this won't be a play-by-play of the entire season. I'm just gonna highlight characters and things that happened throughout the season that stood out to me the most. But if you've been following this show, you know the plot. Basically, it takes place in Philadelphia at an elementary school where we follow all these different teachers and staff at this school, and it's basically a mockumentary style. And if you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I came in a little late to this show, like probably 2 seasons late, but I caught on to this show. This show became a comfort show to me, especially since I do work in the school system. This show is kind of like healing for me. Not since Community have I been looking forward to a new episode of a sitcom in years. And I gotta give credit to Quinta Bronson, who put this show together, and she does an excellent job with the writing on this show, as well as all the actors on this show. To me, this is just one of the most solid casts that works. In fact, to mention Community again, not since Community has a show had such a solid cast that just works. But I've reviewed some of the other seasons. You can go back and watch my review of those. I'm just gonna focus on season 4. And I do feel like season 4 was a huge improvement over season 3, which I felt was compromised because of the strikes. At the end of season 3, we finally saw Janine and Greg finally come together, and this season we see them and their relationship and how it develops. But it doesn't take away from the overall plot of the show, which takes place within the school. I just love how we see their relationship and how we see the two of them come together and they learn more about one another. And even on the Christmas episode, they had a huge fight, which I'm like, because, that's one thing I was dreading. Like, it's just nothing but happiness. They're in the honeymoon phase, and then some fuck shit happens for them to have an argument, and then there's going to be a rift between them. That's one thing I was worried about, but surprisingly, they don't really focus on that. They really are perfect for each other because the two of them, they really have a further understanding how a relationship works and how to work with one another. And the two of them ultimately change each other. And especially in the finale of the episode where, every finale of the show, they take the kids on a field trip. They go to a museum I've never heard of called the Please Touch Museum, where the kids, they basically go around touching everything and have to basically feel like adults. But Gregory's dad, played by Orlando Jones, genius casting, he basically goes and chaperone this trip, and Greg, he kind of has a weird relationship with his dad because his dad was all strict, and Janine, she was playing along to that strictness, but then eventually she had to be silly with the kids, and then the dad was just silly along with them, which was a surprise to Gregory. And then he learns more about his dad and how his dad opens up, and then the most touching thing he said was that Janine reminds him of Greg's late mother. We even get to see more of the relationship between Greg and Janine and basically learning how a relationship works, in which now Greg has to take up a second job because he's not making enough money. And then at the end of this season, we see how he gets to step into the principal's position. More on that in a little bit, but he steps into the principal's position for a brief moment, and then he gets that first check, and he's just surprised of how big that was. Like, he had never seen a check like that before, and I can definitely relate because let's just say last year I got a bit of a promotion, and I'm telling you, that first check with the new promotion, I was like, God damn! Another character that I was surprised that I loved more during this season and got probably some of the most development was Ava, because I'll tell you, I won't say I didn't like Ava. She was just annoying on multiple reasons at the beginning of this show, but I feel like this season they definitely focused more on her. They gave her a boyfriend. Having a boyfriend definitely softened her up a little bit, and then there's this whole thing where she takes bribes from this golf course that's being built in their area, and so that they have more and better supplies for the school. And then he's basically the IT guy, and he's basically fixing things that he wasn't supposed to fix, but he does it for her. And then he strikes a relationship with Ava, but the district finds out and she gets fired as a principal, and then they're trying to bring her back as a principal, and then the whole community just shows out for her because the community understands that Ava she's a bit problematic at times, but she does care about the school, and the things that she did for the school ultimately helped the kids and the community. And her dad, played by Keith David, he comes in into this show, and they kind of have a strained relationship, which I'm assuming that they're gonna go into more with the next season. Now, I mentioned that they're building a golf course. I like how this season it touches on gentrification, especially in areas of color. Miss Howard, played by Shirley Ralph, who is excellent in this role. I like how they continue to progress her character because, like, there's a particular episode where her daughter, she's about to have a baby, and she's dealing with the fact of, oh wow, I'm entering the grandmother stage of her life, and she's trying to figure out ways to stay hip. And then Janine, she even had to tell her, like, hey, we like you for you. You don't have to try to be all hip and be the cool grandma. But I also like how they continue to give her old moments. Miss Shaminti, played by Lisa Ann Walter, I like how they continue to progress her because in the last season she broke up with her boyfriend who was in a vending machine. He installs vending machines and puts snacks in there, but then she has a new boyfriend who is a fireman. And in her stage of, I like how within her stage of her life she begins to find love again and begins to open up a little bit. She even gets a guinea pig, which even softens her even more. I even like the Christmas episode where she has to make this big dinner for her family. One of her family members, I think it's her mother or auntie, whoever, however she's related to Miss Minty, she's played by Adrienne from the Rocky movies, Talia Shire. Jacob continues to be his goofy self, and they even, I think, of all the characters, he probably gets probably like the least amount of development, but they still develop him nonetheless. Like he begins throughout this season, he begins to accept himself more and more, and he did break up with his boyfriend. I think at the beginning of this season or last season. I'm blanking on that, but either way, he is single. And then even during the karaoke episode, Miss Howard and Miss Shaminti, they had to tell him, like, you're having good professional wins, but are you having good personal wins? And he needs to put himself back out there. We even meet his brother, who Jacob, he's always felt some type of way about, but his brother always had admiration for him because he was kind of the oddball out of all the other kids. Mr. Johnson, he continues to be a funny bright spot within this show. As Cuss Creep said about Mr. Johnson during his review of Abbott Elementary, hey, you got two types of custodians at your job. Either they cool as hell or they the biggest dickheads in the fucking building. I already mentioned the season finale of this show. I like the episode where everybody, the whole community comes through for Ava. I like the Christmas episode. The karaoke episode was hilarious in itself because at the end, they're all singing What Would You Do by City High. And it's funny watching Miss Howard read the lyrics to that song, and she's just devastated. Like who would do this? Why would you go through this? And of course, I gotta mention the crossover episode with It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Though I will admit I have never watched that show, but after watching this crossover episode, I'm a little bit more enticed to watch a few episodes of this show. But from what I watched or what I saw from this episode, I did like the character pairings. I thought all the character pairings worked really well. The pairings made sense, and I hope they do more episodes like this. Overall, I really enjoyed this season. I can't wait for season 5. It was a huge improvement over season 3, which wasn't bad. It was just, like I said, compromised because of the strikes. I'm going to give Abbott Elementary season 4 the hard eyes emoji. Thank y'all so much for watching. Have you seen season 4 of Abbott Elementary? If so, let me know what you think in the comments section below. This your boy, Thankful B of the Lassiter Factor. Stay safe, wash your hands, peace.